This is Danny Flexen here for SecondsOut. Delighted to be joined by a top trainer and manager, Shane McGuigan. Shane, how are you?
Good, thanks, Danny. Mate, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you. You're here today at the media workout with Caroline Dubois and the Azim brothers. Just tell us about your hopes for the future, particularly for those three guys and girl.
High hopes for them. You know, they're lucky that they're in a great position. They're on a good platform, and we are able to navigate their careers at what speed we want. You know, they've all got star potential, star quality. We're just going to have to push them on at different speeds. Like Adam's, you know, I've obviously mentioned it in the past. I think he's a special talent. Caroline is too, but you know, they still need their acid test. They still need to come on at a certain speed and not be rushed. So, yeah, excited about their journey for sure.
Just on other members of your stable, Chris Billam-Smith's now going into a rematch with Tommy McCarthy. What did you make of that? I didn't think it was Chris's first choice necessarily, but a very good fight first time around.
Yeah, a great fight. Look, I mean, you know, Chris actually asked for it. He asked for it back in Bournemouth. Initially, he asked for it back in Bournemouth. Eddie said, "That's great. We'll get it sorted." Then he said, "Oh, does I not want to go to Bournemouth?" And then said, "All right, well, look, if we're not going to take Tommy McCarthy in Bournemouth, then we'll just fight Turchi, because you know he wants a homecoming. He wants a homecoming that he can get up for. People are going to get excited about. And if we're just going to be put down a bill, then we said, all right, we'll get rid of our European mandatory challenger, which is Turchi." He then took the Riakpor fight. He then got pulled out, and then in the meantime, we got offered a few other people, and then Eddie put it to us and said, "What about Tommy McCarthy for a little bit more?" We said, "Fantastic, we'll take that."
Got a bit spicy in the build-up last time. Are you going to get involved in any way?
I mean, look, it's only natural. I'm going to defend my fight. I'm going to defend myself. So if they like to throw shade, then I'll throw some shade back. But I think, you know, they can't come out and Tommy's reasonably respectful. He's not going to come out and talk shit. They don't need to sell this fight up. Their styles blend well. It's going to be an exciting fight. So, and it's not about me, and it's not about whoever's hanging around with Tommy McCarthy. It's about Chris Billam-Smith and Tommy. So let them take their limelight and just get on with it. I think it's going to be a great fight. So I'm looking forward to it.
Daniel Dubois is waiting in the wings for his WBA heavyweight title shot against Trevor Bryan. It looks like those purse bids were postponed again. What did you make of that, and is it frustrating for you guys?
Well, what it is it's down to Frank and Don King to sort of negotiate and come to an agreement. You know, annoyingly they had a deal on the table. Then they said, all right, let's withdraw, let's go to purse bids, and then obviously just got pushed back again. So today it got, you know what I mean. So it's frustrating, but that's heavyweight boxing. You know, you got like, I think it was like Manuel Charr or something. He was like ready for a world title. He was ready to fight for a world title for ages or whatever. It's just like it's frustrating, but yeah, we'll see. Hopefully we can get it sorted.
Talking of heavyweight boxing, I've spoken to you before about Tyson Fury against Dillian Whyte. As a manager and trainer, what do you make of Wyatt's resistance to participating in the media events in the build-up to the fight? Because he would say he's focusing purely on his training, which as a trainer is pretty cool, but he's not attending the press conference, which as a manager you might not like so much.
Yeah, look, I mean, like if it was a pay-per-view event, then you're thinking that, you know, it's sales driven, but the fact that the fight sold out within seconds, you know, I mean, it was sold out that day. Tickets are going crazy, you know what I mean? Like Tyson Fury is a big enough mouth and name that he doesn't need to go out there and you know, so Dillian Whyte doesn't need to go out there and sort of have a back and forth with him. And look, he's getting a set fee, so fair dues to him. I would have said, you're still getting paid a lot of money. You could do it, you know, just out of the grace of the sport. But you know, he didn't. He chose against it. So that's that.
I want to ask you about boxing officiating in the UK. It's come under a lot of scrutiny in the last couple of years, particularly with Josh Taylor and Jack Casserole not that long ago. And there were still a few strange cards on the DAZN show at the weekend, albeit not affecting the result of any of the contests. What, if any, are the solutions to this seeming problem we have in this country?
Well, people forget that, you know, like Mick Conlan, if he'd have lost that last round, it would have been a majority draw. And I thought he was way ahead. You know, there's some, it's frustrating that this is the case, but you know, we've done such a good job the BBBSC have done such a great job over the years that you can't they've had a little series of runs right now that it's kind of looking bad, but. Sandy Ryan could have gone either way. I thought she probably would have won that one, and it went against her. So it is what it is. You just got to take the good with the bad.
What can we do about it, though? Is there any kind of way to improve either the standard of the officials or greater, criteria being published, that kind of thing?
Punch stats can come into play. I mean, look, in America, punch stats come into play a little bit more. It happens all over the world, mate. It's just the way it is, and it's what you favour. Whether you favour the aggression, whether you favour the punch volume, it's frustrating. But a lot of those fights that were all talked about were hard to score. But look, Josh Taylor did, I think, lose that fight, and he got outworked. The punch stats went against him, even just down to everything. Like it was all stacked up. So it was just that was broadcast on both sides of the pond, and it was seen that's just reflected bad on the BBBSC because it was such a big event. If that had been on the undercard, no one really noticed.
Just one final question. Anthony Joshua was talking about taking an interim fight before going in with Usyk for obvious reasons with the situation in Ukraine. Did you ever consider kind of chucking Daniel Dubois' name in the hat as the opponent? I know ideally it'd be a southpaw, but it hasn't stopped Joe Joyce or Deontay Wilder pushing forward.
Yeah, I think so. Like with the fact that Daniel hasn't lost to Joe Joyce, and we've had 2 fights since. I mean, it would be not harsh, but it was just, look, we could have tried to push for that, but obviously Joe Joyce is going to want the big paydays slightly later on in his career. We don't need to necessarily jump into that with Daniel. Still a fight that I think he's got very good chance of winning. And it's one that I would be confident in time. But for now, Joe chucked his name in the hat, and I think that's a great fight. It's one that Anthony Joshua will win. I believe he'll probably get to him pretty early, and he'll get his confidence back. And at the same time, it's going to be a fantastic fight.
Shane, always appreciate your time.